everyone, and welcome to Comic Channel Origins. My name is Bryant, and this is on the I Have Comic Channels, or I Have Comic Issues YouTube channel. And today I have the pleasure of speaking to Eman from Eman's World of Geeks. So let me bring Eman on. Here he is. Hey, Eman, how are you doing tonight?
Doing good, Bryant. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I really appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. We got East Coast and we got West Coast. We're So we're going cross country today.
Exactly. From Florida to California, we're going to be covering everything from here to there. Bryant's 3 hours ahead of me, so he's in the future, or maybe I'm living in the past. One of the two.
That's good. And a couple of weeks ago, I was talking to people even further into the future than me, so it's cool playing a little time travel here.
Exactly.
All right. And we were having a great conversation about Transformers before we got on camera. A lot to learn. I mean, it's got a lot of cool stuff back there. If you haven't seen E-Man's stuff, a lot of his shorts and things like that, you need to check out the one he showed today. It showed a great collaboration between Hot Wheels and Transformers, which, I mean, to me, that kind of like goes together like peanut butter and jelly.
Exactly, and then with the original a lot of the original Transformers back in the 80s being die-cast metal and Hot Wheels still sticking with the die-cast, having that specific one that I have, I'm not going to tell you, guys need to watch the channel, to figure out which one it is. But to have that original style Transformer, the original form of how Optimus Prime transformed back in the day, but still all die-cast in that, Hot Wheels sized, figure. Man, it was beautiful. Plus, it being like a collector's item, oh man, it was golden.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely want to check that out. And we got Otaka Mike popped in. He was my guest last week. What's up, Otaka?
What's up, Mike? I was talking to Mike this week. I was like, "Hey, Matt, I've never ran into your channel before because Matt puts a lot of us in his groups, and I was like, I've never checked this out. Let me check you out." And Mike and I were like chopping it up last week, like. How to grow, what we're doing, what direction we're taking. I was like, it was a really good conversation with Mike.
Yeah, I know. Like one of my questions would be like, when did you feel like your YouTube channel has finally taken off? And for me, that's actually been this week.
Nice. It feels good, right? Once you feel like people finally recognize all the work that you're putting into your channel and they're coming around, it feels good. Sometimes it doesn't feel like all the work that you're putting is being put to waste. It's just like, hey, like people are actually coming, but it does take time. We'll get into that later on, but yeah, it does take time.
All right, so let's get into questions that I got for you. I sent these to you earlier, just so everybody knows he's had a little bit of time to think about some answers. So, but what inspired you to start your YouTube channel? Because I'm not going to say comic book YouTube channel because not all comic books, but it's pop culture or geek culture YouTube channel. So what inspired you to start your channel, and what was your very first video?
So originally, I started with the C-List Villains podcast, which consisted of a few of my friends. Two of them actually are friends that I've known since high school. Okay. And they're like, hey, do you want to get in on a podcast? We're just going to talk about comic books. I was like, you know what? I'm actually starting to get back into comic books. But I told them like keep in mind, like I'm not reading any of the big stuff. Like I read mostly of the independent stuff. And they go, that's perfect because that's all we read too. So we started a podcast in 2019 before the pandemic. And it was audio only. We're still tinkering around with a lot of stuff. We're still trying to figure stuff out. We never even did like Restream or stream art or anything just like that. It was just four guys talking stuff. So we had Red, who was like the comedian, right? He was our har guy. We had Luke, who was actually our comic book guru. Like he knew his stuff. AJ is he was the head guy. He was the creator of the show, and then I ended up being producer of the show. I ended up starting to edit some of our stuff. So like the earlier stuff was really, really rough, right? But we started meeting people in the comic community. We started meeting artists first. We had AJ, who was just reaching out to artists. Hey man, I have a podcast. Are you down to come on? So it started off like that, and about 2 years later, like 1 or 2 years later, and this was during the pandemic. That's when I was like, you know what? We've been doing this for 2 years. I'm gonna keep interviews and other stuff here on the group channel, but I'm gonna go ahead and start my own because I definitely have other things that I want to share and do, but I don't think is really in line with what we do as a group. But I want to be able to be creative. So around 2021 is when I started my own channel, and my very first video was an unboxing video. And I was nervous as heck. Like I was just like, I don't know what to do. I just watching other people's channels. I'm like, all right, let me just press record and hey, I'm gonna go ahead and unbox videos. I was like, I don't know how to behave on this. I don't know what's going on. So my very first video was an unboxing. I forgot which one it was, and I kept it up, just to kind of go back and be like, all right, this is where you started. Just remember this is where you as an individual started, and just grow from here.
Right.
It's definitely a journey. What was that? I'm sorry.
This is the worst you'll ever be.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to say the worst, but it was. I have to look at it as this is where I found the courage to press record. This is where I
Okay.
found the courage to hit live or whatever I needed to do at that time. And just from there, it was just like learn from every single video. Make your next video slightly different. Don't overdo it. Just make it slightly different. Maybe add more personality. Maybe even take some of it away because big personality, but it's always going to be the reminder of like, this is where I started.
So is the C List podcast, does that still play, or do they still make it? Or
Yes, yes. So now it's Red and our friend Mike, which I'm gonna, a couple of guys I'm actually gonna see at Fan Expo San Francisco later on this week, and they
okay.
still continue on the C List Villains podcast name. They're still doing their show every Saturday. They do it at 7 p.m. here on YouTube. So make sure you guys go ahead and subscribe to my boys, the C List Villains podcast. And whenever I have time, whenever I can, because they do it on Saturdays and weekends is usually family time. It's family or girlfriend time, So like we're either out to dinner or we're out doing family stuff, and when I'm home and I'm really not doing anything, it's like, oh, let me hop on with the guys and just podcast with them, and it's just shenanigans. It's more of a hangout, but they'll have some things that they'll talk about throughout the week. So it's fun to see it's fun to see neurodivergent brains with no guidance just go for it, and that's what those guys are. I love those guys 100%.
So is it a YouTube live stream, or is it more like an actual typical audio podcast where like, I'm just curious, like my job, I drive a lot, and so I listen to a lot. So I didn't know if it's one that I could pick up off of Apple Podcast Player or something like that.
We used to put it all on podcasts and on Spotify years ago, but now it's all strictly on YouTube. It is a live stream, but you can always watch the rewind, right? You
Okay.
can always watch it on the rewind, just have it play and just let the shenanigans ensue,
Yeah.
just let it go.
JSS has dropped the link.
Yes. Thank you so much, JSS. I appreciate
Thank you,
it, brother.
JSS. All right. Um, so was there a specific moment or video where you felt like the Eman YouTube channel has kind of took off, or how long have you been on YouTube, or do you know that offhand?
Yeah, yeah. I've been on YouTube. I've been on YouTube since 2019, but the channel's been on its own since 2021.
Okay.
So over the last 4.5, almost 5 years, it's been a journey. There's so many things that I did and changed, but I want to say for the first 4 years, it was kind of like stuck. I wouldn't even hit like 100 views. Like sometimes it gets really discouraging, and I want to say last year, around this time last year, I was like, you know what? This is Eman's World of Geek. I don't just like comic books. I like comic books, Transformers. I like gaming, and I like tech. And there was a video that I was working on with my friend Psychotron, and I was like, hey man, I know, like you're good with writing, and I have a blueprint of something. Could you help me out? He's like, yeah. So I gave him my ideas. I punched my ideas in Chat GPT, and I was like, look, this is the idea right here, right? I was like, I need it to sound a little bit more conversational. Could you write a script for me? And I sent it to him, and he wrote a script for me. And then I went ahead and made my own edits just to make it sound a little bit more like me. And that video literally took me about 4 months to plan, record, and edit, only because I was just so scared.
Right.
I was just so scared, like, oh my god, this is not. It really ate up at my mental health too. Even thinking about this, just because I got so nervous.
Right.
And with me having ADHD, it was just like, you need to get it out. But, then my whole brain was just fighting with me. Finally, it was just like, screw this, do it, work on it, edit it, upload it, and watch it, cry about it, and then move on to the next thing. That's just how I had to approach videos. But I was like, because this is so different, I have to do this. So I ended up doing a video on, I love Metal Gear Solid.
Okay.
I love that video game series. The Metal Gear series is literally one of my favorite video game series of all time. So I came up with an idea of, hey, look, there's a lot of talk about whether this game is going to be a movie or not. Are we in a time when that specific franchise should have a movie, or should it be a TV show? And I did that whole video explaining what it is, what it isn't, what it could be, what it shouldn't be, and my thoughts on whether it should be a movie or a video. And I really hope that people can go back and check it out, because I think it still stands to this day, since we don't have it just yet. But as soon as I sent out that video, I think I got like 3, 4, 500 views on it. I think by now that specific video has maybe about 600 views. And for me, for a small channel like me, I was like, oh my God, that's huge. People actually listened. So I want to say that was when I was like, I can do it. People are listening. I do have enough within me to be able to say, hey, I have something to say. Let me share it with everyone,
Right.
and let me produce it in such a way that's digestible and informative, because it was a completely different take on how my channel usually is, which is unboxings and mail calls. And for years, my channel was literally just, hey, look at me. Look what I got. I got a new toy. That's really the whole thing behind my channel. And I was like, you know what? It needs to change. So I felt like I needed to throw something a little bit more informative about something I really cared about. So I want to say that's when I realized, hey, it can pop off. So I'm going to say that Metal Gear video.
Okay. So does anybody own the rights or the option rights to that IP?
So the IP here's the crazy thing. The IP actually belongs to Konami Entertainment. And we're talking about Metal Gear, right? Or are we talking about the video? Okay. So the IP belongs to Konami Entertainment, who Hideo Kojima had Kojima Productions and his studio that created the game and was published by Konami. So they created it. Konami went ahead and sent it out. But after Metal Gear Solid 5, there was a very, very, very ugly breakup between Hideo Kojima, the creator of the series, and Konami, to a point where that game won Video Game of the Year, but Konami was like, you're not invited, creator of the video game, because it was just a nasty breakup. So it was like, and from then on, after Metal Gear Solid 5, I was like, I'm done with the series because of what Konami did to him.
Okay.
I'm all upset. I hate you now, Konami. And they recently re-released Metal Gear Solid Delta for Xbox and PlayStation 5. And people were like, oh my God, it's such a great game. Like, I hate that game. I hate it. I don't ever want anyone to play. If you're a friend of mine, you don't play that game because of what they did to Hideo Kojima. Those guys are mean. But I was like really stern about it, because, my favorite creator was dumped by his publisher literally for like no reason at all either. Like, they didn't see his vision and they're like, we're going to go in a different direction, and just cut all ties. They didn't even give him a chance to accept an award that he definitely earned, and
Right.
I was like, I'm good. You guys enjoy it. Peace. I'm out of that one.
So, but that video does have some evergreen possibilities for it, right? So,
Maybe, it would be nice to think about that specific video, just people going back and looking at it and say, hey, he's got something to say. Hey, I'm hoping that people will be able to see my point and why I made that decision at the end of the video of what do I believe? Should it be a movie or should it be a TV show? Again, you guys have to watch to see what I think.
yeah.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those. If it ever gets optioned, it might be interesting to see if your video picks back up, if the algorithm of YouTube will start feeding that video to people because it's relevant to news that's taking place during that time.
Exactly. And in the hopes is that, but me as a creator also, I have to let people and remind people, hey, that there's that video that's out there, but
Right.
that's also me as a creator. I need to stick within the realm of speaking about video games and sticking maybe with my thoughts on, Metal Gear Solid Delta, why I'm not going to play it, and as long as I still stick within that subject matter, I can remind people, hey, by the way, if you guys haven't seen the video and what I think, make sure you guys go back and check it. So I, as a creator, also have that responsibility of letting people know, hey, there's something else I think you guys are gonna like. Go check it out.
Yeah. So you do try to use the end screens and stuff like that in
This
videos?
is something that I am just learning. So I do use the end screens, but I'm also just learning how to end a video. Now, my next four videos, I'm going to tell you now, my next four videos is going to be all Transformers related.
Oh,
Um,
we have a fellow Transformer lover that just popped on.
that's right,
The
TJ. What's
Marine.
going on? That's my justice for Starscream. No, justice for Thundercracker now. For anyone reading the Image Comics Transformers, it is now it's justice for Thundercracker. That's right. Um, what was I saying?
About the 4 videos you got coming up or something?
Yeah. So there's four videos that are coming up, and I have to find a way to really start using the end screens correctly. One thing that yeah, and I watch a lot of YouTube how to's, how to make your channel better, how to make your videos better, how to, get people to engage more with you. And I watch a lot of this stuff because I do want to take my channel seriously to a point where I do want people to hear what I have to say if I have anything to say, or at least be entertained by the content that I'm bringing.
Right.
I want to do a cinematic unboxing of a Transformer. I'm going to do a cinematic unboxing of a mail call that I received. Come and hang out. And that's kind of like where my brain is right now. I want to do these like cool techniques and cool unboxings. But I also have Transformers that I'm also going to unbox, and then I have Transformers that I'm going to need to take from, hey, this is my thoughts, and then do a cinematic shot of like different poses and stuff like that, give information on what the Transformer is all about, and then at the end of the screen, give you my final thoughts on how I feel about this specific Transformer. Because the next series that I'm working on is going to be a stylized version of Devastator, and these are not like your typical Constructicons, and they're pretty massive.
Okay.
So going into the whole end screen part, I have to work it in at the end screen of, hey, you know what? If you instead of saying thank you guys for coming by and hanging out, see you later. The moment someone in the audience, the moment that your audience realizes that this video is about to end, they're gonna click away.
Right.
But if you end with, hey, you know what? If you like this video, check out the previous one where I review the very first Constructicon, and I'll let you know what my thoughts are on that one. And, thank you guys so much for coming by, and make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video. As long as you tell them, hey, I have other content for you that you want to see, and point that and use your end screen for that before ending the video, then
Right.
they'll know, hey, look, the video's about to end. Let me go watch another one of their videos. So I'm learning that technique that I literally just found out within the last couple of weeks.
You got Bruce. Hey, Bruce, how are you doing? So, so you're going to do the series. What? How many are there? 5 or is it 4 Constructicons?
So as of right now, I only have four.
Okay.
They've only released four of them, but I have this idea that I want to share with everyone of, hey, this is what I think of each one of these figures. And then there's going to be a video after that of me putting Devastator together to make it look like, hey, this is what it's going to look like, but there's one piece missing, stay tuned, something like that. It keeps the people entertained, it keeps the audience entertained, it keeps them like, hey, dude, this looks cool. And then at the end, it's like, wait a minute, it's not done. It's not done. You got to wait for one more,
It's
you
a
know?
cliffhanger.
Yeah, have a cliffhanger like that. And then I have another set of bots that I have where I haven't done a proper unboxing and review of those. And I'm going to take the lessons that I've learned with the Constructicons and do that with the Combaticons that I
Okay.
have. And I have all 5 of those. So my idea is to review each one of them separately and then do a final video of me putting them together and forming Bruticus. And hopefully I can, make it a cinematic, make it look slow and steady, I'm just having fun with this new look that I'm learning and trying out. And that's one thing on YouTube is that None of us are professionals. None of us, out of all of the people that are in our community that we know, very few of us are actually making any kind of money. So I'm at that point where I'm like, you know what? I'm going to use this as just a creative platform.
Right.
I'm going to go have fun. I'm going to create these little fun videos that I would want to watch. And I watch my videos regularly, but not because, hey, you coworker, look at this video right here. It really isn't that. It really is me breaking down my own videos like, okay, I could have done this better. Maybe I could have shot this differently. Oh, wait, the setting for the camera here. I watch my videos to see what I didn't do correctly so I can work on it for the next video. Because I am trying to take my channel a little bit more seriously without it killing me. And this is just
Right.
me. This is just me because I used to talk a lot, and I still talk a lot. Like you can tell right now, I talk a lot. My God, you get me without my medicine. I'm talking a whole lot. But
I mean, this is the easiest thing about me doing these shows is I just ask a question and the guest
and
does
then
all the talking.
let them do it. Oh my God, I just asked them. But I've been finding it's been harder and harder for me to actually get my thoughts about a review down. I have to write bullet points. One thing I'm good at is I can give you my emotions, I can give you my feelings, I can give you my initial thoughts about something. But breaking down a comic, like for example, Absolute Batman #1 was phenomenal. When I think about the writer, when I think about what Scott Snyder is doing, he's taking Batman in a different direction. And then you start breaking down the writing and the style and the different direction. And though those things are very nice and very informative, I'm finding out I'm not the informative type. And I wish I was.
Right.
I wish I could inform you, my friends, people who are visiting the channel. I wish I could inform you about things that I'm reading beyond. "Hey, I like this book; it's nice." And there's people that do that, and they do it well, and they find success doing that. And people, the audience loves the genuine reaction of people when they see that. They love seeing, your genuinity. Your
Authenticity.
authenticity. Thank you so much. I'm like, words. They love seeing the authenticity, and if you can bring them something authentic, emotional, it's good enough. If you give them information, you bring them value, and that's why some people keep coming back to the video, keep coming back to your video. So that's why I say I wish I could be more informative. But the videos that I'm shooting right now are all, hey, look what I have, and I'm going to have some fun unboxing it. I'm going to shoot from different angles, and I've learned something new, and I'm going to share this with you guys. So right now, I'm just using it as a creative platform. And if I can get to the point of allowing my brain to let me write down bullet points so I can actually talk about what I like about a comic book, I'm going to start doing better comic book reviews. But also, as a creator, you have to just keep doing it. You have to keep going. You're
Right.
going to mess up the first few times. You're gonna mess up the first 100 times. As long as you learn something new from the previous one, you will always get better.
Yeah.
But you have to learn, and you have to take those seriously.
Yeah. I know, or for me personally, I did like 2 months solid of a daily video that I was putting out. And I mean, it was a lot of work, but it was like a crash course in production and video and prepping. So I feel a lot more confident in my video creation ability now based upon that. I mean, some popped off, some did good, some didn't do well, but as a content creator, I think I'm much better now than I was prior to that. So,
And that's the goal, right?
yeah,
Every video is going to be better as long as you take it seriously.
yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of these, like review videos, or not review videos, but the when you're building the Constructicons or Bruticus and all that, do you have any? Are these all products that are for sale somewhere?
Yes, yes. So these are all third-party figures that I've purchased from different companies, from different stores that actually sell them. So yeah, everything that I've shown everywhere is you can purchase them. Some of them might be sold out. Like the one that I showed today, the Nemesis Prime. That one's sold out. Like you can't get that at a store anywhere. The only way you can get that is like through the secondary market, because it was sold through Mattel Creations directly through their website, and their website crashed within 10 minutes because it was sold out. But everything that I do have is something that you can purchase somewhere legally. Legally. Just want to it's all legal stuff,
Right.
okay? But yeah, you can purchase everything. There's a company, one of my favorite companies right now is called Magic Square, and they're the ones that are doing the Combaticons right now. And I have quite a few Magic Square toys, and I really enjoy those figures a lot. And most of the figures that I get are G1 inspired, and the Magic Square toys actually look very original to the cartoon,
Okay.
very much like for example, this one right here. This is a masterpiece sized Optimus Prime. This is from Magic Square, and he looks very close to the cartoon. And I really like this company right here. And the funny thing is that like this, you don't really see any of his wheels, but because of the engineering that went behind this, his wheels are tucked away nicely, so that way when I do transform him, he does turn into the truck.
Okay.
He does turn into what he's supposed to. And that's what I found so fascinating about these third party companies, that they kept the G1 aesthetic and still they're transformable.
Have you thought about reaching out to them about affiliate programs?
Not yet.
Okay.
I haven't really reached out to anyone about any kind of affiliate programs just yet. I know where I'm at as far as video creation and content creating goes. I also know that I'm not consistent, which is the one thing that really kills me. And if there's one thing that I really want everyone to walk away from this chat that you and I have, is that if you want to grow, be consistent.
Right.
Be consistent. Now don't say you have to you have to release that video on a Monday. If you can't hit by Monday, that's fine. Go by Wednesday, but you have to be consistent. And if you're not consistent, people aren't going to notice you. So, because I know where I'm at, I'm very much okay with taking my time with filming the videos that I do, because I want to make sure that I release quality videos that
Right.
hopefully people will enjoy. This is just me. Don't get me wrong. I don't want anyone. Please don't follow my blueprint. But this is my blueprint, right? I want to make sure that I release the videos that I definitely want to go back and watch again. And I take a lot of time doing it, and I don't have a lot of time to sit in front of the camera and talk about a comic book anymore, because I have other things on my mind. And
Right.
it sucks because I feel like I'm breaking up with the comic book community, but it's more along the lines of, hey, look, there's something else that interests me. I'm gonna play over here in this pond for a while, and I'll come back to comics. Transformers has comics. G.I. Joe's, Energon universe. I want to talk about comics again. But I found something new that I enjoy doing. But I I also remember where I started. I also know where I came from. I also remember who accepted me. This is the comic book community.
Right.
But the affiliate links, reaching out to Amazon, reaching out to, big time collectibles, or, Comic Mint, or, Midtown, and then doing the Transformer thing. I don't feel like I have enough behind me to say, hey, look, I can be an affiliate. I don't have enough viewers to say, hey, look, if you're thinking about buying this toy, we'll use the link down below. I don't feel like I'm there yet. So, I don't have them. But once you start getting consistent, once you start releasing regular videos and you're getting the views and you're getting the foot traffic, like, don't worry about subs, you guys. Worry about, just worry about getting your stuff out consistently. With that right there, then people are gonna start noticing you. Then you might think about doing affiliate links. I just don't do them yet.
Right. Well, I mean, on the affiliate links, I mean, that's a little bit different than the sponsorship.
Exactly.
I'm just saying on the affiliate side, I mean, you're making the video, so, and it doesn't cost them anything to give you an affiliate link. They just will, if you sell something for them, that's another sale for them, and you get a slight percentage. So,
Right, exactly. Like, just using the affiliate link, you get a small percentage. And but it takes a whole lot for you to get any kind of money out of that, unless you have like literal tens of thousands of followers.
right.
Sponsorships, you might be able to get a little bit more out of, right? Just
Yeah.
mention
Yeah.
XYZ.
On the sponsorship, it does, I think consistency would matter more. and how much you're putting out would matter. Whereas if you making that video about Bruticus and they have Bruticus toys that they can sell, and you help sell a couple, they're happy,
Yeah.
and you're
So
happy because you'll get a few bucks.
I have a buddy in the Transformer community who actually a few of them who do regular reviews, and there's this company called Shozy on shozystore.com, I believe it's SHOWZ, and they're a great site to buy Transformers from, and he does regular reviews, and he gets all of his stuff from Shozy, and the only way for him to get any updated stuff is if people support him on the Shozy store by saying, "Hey, you look, I follow this guy on YouTube, and this is who I watch for my reviews." And a lot of the stuff he'll get from Shozy, but he's got to return it,
Right.
and because they need someone out there to speak on their behalf. They can't create a commercial for it, so they'll let YouTubers say, "Hey, this is what I think about this. If you like this, go to Shozy. Make sure you pick it up." He's got to return it back, but at least he has content. And the more he does it, sometimes shows you might be like, "Hey, you know what? Here's another figure. We need that one back, but here's something else. Go ahead and keep that." And he can use that as a giveaway. He can add it to his collection, whatever he wants to do. But as long as he's consistent with it, right?
Yeah.
Then it works for him. And as long as we're consistent with our content here in the comic book community, Midtown, Big Time Collectibles, Comic Man, all these other they might start noticing and be like, hey there, comic book creator, we want to talk to you about your video. But it takes a lot to be sponsored. It takes a big commitment to be sponsored. And it takes a lot on us as content creators to say, do I even want to be sponsored by this company right here? What is their mission statement? Who do they support? And there's a bunch of other stuff that goes on. But all we would hear as small channels is, hey, if someone wants to sponsor me, that's awesome. But you still have to do your homework on, hey, who are they as a company, and who is
Right.
this person as a person, and do you guys agree on views and whatnot? So there's a lot that goes into it. As much as I want to be sponsored, as much as I want to have my affiliate links, I know where I'm at, and I'm okay with it for now until I find a better workflow for what I do, until I find a better way to be able to speak for the microphone than I do now, be able to give you the information that I want for you guys to be more interested to say, hey, look, I'm going to watch Eman's channel more consistently because he's about to review Absolute Batman, Absolute Wonder Woman, things like that consistently. And that's what brings people back.
Right. Yeah, if this whole Transformer thing doesn't work out for you, you might want to go into knife reviews.
I don't, oh, wait, you might, I honestly only have two knives. One I purchased years ago because I just need a pocket knife, and
Right.
then another one. This one's all bad. My son bought this for me one year for Father's Day years ago, but it's like falling apart. There's like a bunch of stuff, some bolts and stuff like that missing. It's not the best knife in the world to have, but because my kid gave me this knife,
Yeah.
like I'm holding on to it for dear life until it's like everything fell apart. It's literally not usable anymore. And even at that point, I'm just gonna kind of put it in a bag and put it in a box somewhere and be like, my son gave this to me. I'm not letting go of this.
Oh, it's pretty good for opening your boxes.
Yeah, it's got that, that hook at the end. It reminds me of like a Filipino fighting knife too. That was one of the reasons why I bought it.
Okay.
But this one right here is a Smith and Wesson, not sponsored by Smith and Wesson. Not sponsored. Come on. Not sponsored by Smith and Wesson, but this is Smith and Wesson right there.
I think I might actually have that one.
This is a nice one right here. This technically, don't let my son know this is actually my favorite knife. That's why it goes with me. The other one stays here in the garage.
Right. So how did you find your niche in the comic book slash geek culture community?
I was thinking about this one right here for a while. And I guess it was one of those things where I've kind of already known. So I enjoy reading comics, and I enjoy talking about comics with people in the community, with the C-List Villains podcast, and just letting you guys know what I think about certain comics. But because there's so much lore in like the big two stuff, Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, Captain America, X-Men, Avengers, Justice League, like all those. There's so much lore behind those. When I started collecting comics in the '90s, I was like, you know what? I'm going to start with Image because I can start from the beginning.
Right.
I don't have to like, all right, cool. I'm picking up, Batman 625 in the middle of a run. Well, I don't understand what's happening. Now I have to go back 600 issues to kind of understand what's going on. Where at least with Image, start from the beginning. Spawn, Youngblood, all of those guys right there. It was like, cool, I can start from the beginning on a new story. And though it might seem familiar to other people, it's brand new to me.
Right.
So knowing that I would rather read what I call mid dependence, it made more sense to me because I can start a story, finish a story, be satisfied with it, just like watching or reading a series, or watching a TV series. Not diving into the lore of Spider-Man, but at least knowing about it. Same thing with X-Men and Avengers. I was able to still enjoy the movies. I knew
Right.
enough about Spider-Man to be like, hey, I know this. I knew enough about X-Men and Avengers to understand, the movies, but they were still dumbed down to, the casual audience members so that they were still enjoyable. When it came down to reading, I was like, I actually like these independent books, and I started noticing other artists that aren't Jim Lee and Todd McFarlane and writers like Chris Claremont. Reading like mid-dependence, like it got me into a whole different way of thinking about comics. I'm like, oh my god, this could be a little bit more adult. Oh, this could be a little bit more horror. Or this is kind of crazy. Oh, you never see a child die like this, and this is crazy. And so when I found my niche, I realized I was like, you know what? If I'm going to be in the comic book world, I'm going to just stay in the realm that I feel comfortable with. Starting with a number one and finishing it, whether it's 5 issues or whether it's 34 issues. I could stay here, digest this series, and be like, cool, move on to the next. ADHD does that too. Just want you to know, no, it's just too much. But it's small enough, and I can take those in small enough chunks where I'm like, cool, this ended, moving on. And that's when I realized I like that style of comic book reading. So when did I find my niche? I'm probably going to say when I realized probably in 2016, 2017, where I'm like, I would rather read one trade that can finish from beginning to end rather than picking up 400 different trades for, the big guys because of that reason.
Okay.
Because I can begin and finish the story.
So what also got you into Transformers though?
That's Transformers is actually my original love.
Okay.
Transformers and gaming were my first two geeky loves. As a child, to me, Optimus Prime is to some kids, or maybe even some adults, is Captain America. They're Spider Man. They're
Right.
Superman. Mine was Optimus. The way I hear everyone talking about some like the bigger guys, that's the same feeling that I have towards Optimus Prime. And matter of fact, I did a review on the Image Skybound Transformers run, the first 6 issues. And I talk about that in there where now I feel being in the comic book community, reading the first 6 issues, now I know what you guys felt probably back in the day when you guys were looking forward to reading Superman, Spider-Man, like some of the big guys. I didn't have that feeling when I picked up Venom or Spider-Man or anything like that. It's very cool. It's a comic book. But now I run to my comic book shop and make sure that I pick up Transformers. Like that's the one where I need to read that one. That's the one that I'm just because I've had a love for him as a child. And having the original toy, watching the cartoon, watching the movie, and then watching all
So
the different iterations.
quick
Oh,
question. Did you
sure.
cry during the movie?
So
Were you
yeah.
mad at Hot Rod?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Every kid did. I was 8 years old when they came out. It was at 86. Yeah. I was 8 years old and I was like, hold on, wait, that's not real. That can't be real. And then my mom was like, yeah, it looks like they killed him off. And I was so upset. I was so upset. I think I ended up come to think of it, this is kind of like reminding me I may have like thrown my Optimus Prime on the ground and it was just so pissed off. I may have done that. I've never brought that up anywhere else, but just thinking about it, I'm like, wait a minute, I think I did that like after the movie. So yeah, for sure I did cry.
Yeah. It was a great movie, but it was very sad.
Oh God, yeah. Because it's on YouTube, it's easy to watch. Sometimes I just have it on for background noise.
Okay.
I just have it on for background noise.
Yeah, I really enjoyed I love Transformers, and back when I was a kid, I had a whole bunch of Legos. I actually made a fully transformable Optimus Prime out of Legos, and it wasn't a Transformer kit. It was before they had the special kits for stuff, but it actually transformed, and it was the accurate colors and everything.
I remember doing something like that because the Legos are blocky enough and you can just like bring them out. And I remember doing something very similar. Like I bet you I could make an Optimus Prime with things like that. That actually also is unlocking some childhood memories right there, Brian. Thanks.
Did you see the Marines comment?
What I did. Yeah, I was 8, couldn't drive. I had to go back.
Now we're all showing our age. We're probably at about the same
I
age.
think so. I think so. I was born in 77. Let's just go ahead and get it out of the way. I'm turning 48 next month. So, a
Oh,
48-year-old transforming child.
I am turning 50 next month. So
See, Gen X. Don't mess with
yeah.
us.
So yeah, I love Transformers and GI Joe and all that stuff.
And GI
So
Joe was the second for sure. And then Mask was cool, but you were kind of like confused. You're like, they're not quite GI Joe, but they're not quite Transformers. And they kind of felt in this weird realm, but you would still watch it. Like I would end up watching Mask more than I would watch GoBots. But then like it was either for me it was Transformers, GI Joe, and it would always switch between He-Man and Thundercats, and then like Silverhawks.
yeah, I remember Sectars or not Sector or the insect
In
people.
Insecticons? No.
No, it would. I don't know. They flew on bugs. I mean, they like had giant bugs that they rode on, and they had like antennas on their head. I don't know. It's been a while.
The one that very similar to what you're talking about. The one that I remember really watching and I really liked was Jason the Wheeled Warriors, and there were these big plants that turn into like motorized vehicles, and they would go after the good guys. Jason the Wheeled Warriors was awesome because of that, because these plants would turn into like these battle bots and battle vehicles, and it was just really cool.
Uh, yeah, Transformers, Voltron. Yeah,
Voltron,
Volt-
yeah.
I always loved the vehicle Voltron and that red jet that went on the chest.
Yeah, Vehicle Force was really cool. It also I was watching a special on it, and just to hear that both Vehicle Force and Go Lion, they were both not what they originally were in Japan. Like they completely dumbed those things down for kids here in the United States. If you can find like the original Japanese versions, you'll find out that holy crap, those things were very adult.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't seen any of that stuff. Um,
Also, check this out. Voltron, the Lion, Go Lion, that's Voltron 3. Vehicle Force was actually Voltron 1. And then there was another one, Voltron 2, which was 3 robots that stacked on top of each other to make a bigger robot. The idea behind that was that Go Lion, they were supposed to take care of a farther universe. Voltron 2, they were supposed to take care of like a mid-tier distance universe. And then Vehicle Force were the ones that stayed closer to Earth to defend Earth. So there's 3 different Voltrons that were out there.
and they were all in the same universe.
All in the same universe, but Voltron 2 never made it to the United States proper. It was mostly like in Latin America, but it was the same universe.
Flash. I mean, see, if you had affiliate links to Go Lion, I mean, you might have hooked the Flash.
Yeah. Go look up actual Go Lion. It's crazy, TJ.
Can you find that on YouTube or anywhere? Or
I'm pretty sure you could probably find it on YouTube. I remember it very vividly because my cousin had this membership to a Japanese video store in San Francisco in the 90s, and we would go there regularly and rent Japanese only cartoons, and just to find out that they were completely different than what we watched as kids. And then he had like a 2 head, VCR. We would be like, all right, let's go ahead and put this in, watch it, record it at the same time. It was one of those back in the day. Look, this is, hey, look, the authorities can't do anything about that. It's been too long.
statute of limitations.
Statute of limitations, exactly.
Um, so I'm gonna guess that Transformers might be the best comic book content that performs on your channel, or is there anything else that you would say performs really well for you?
When it comes down to performance, I'm still trying to figure it out, to be honest with you, Bryant. My comic book content, oh, you know what performs well is either either the either like the cinematic stuff, my shorts, or anything that actually has genuine information. But things like that, when it comes down to performance of your videos now, the YouTube algorithm is changing. It's been changing over the last few months. Now, YouTube, they want you to make episodic type videos. They want you to release more information. Give us the value. Well, what is the value of the video? The value is, in this video, I'm going to be talking about, whether Metal Gear Solid should be a movie or not. In this video, I'm going to be talking about, the review of Transformers 1 through 6. So the videos where I talk about and review or give information about, those are the ones that perform. If I'm coming on and I'm just showing you guys, hey, look, my mail call this week is, or hey, look what I got from C3, or look, this is what I got from the Mission 22 auction, people in our community would watch it,
Right.
but no one else outside because it feels very niche of the niche, right? But if I approach those videos more along the lines of, hey, in this unboxing, I'm going to share with you a mail call where I purchased from a wonderful charity that supports XYZ. Get people wondering, hey, what are you going to show? And then everything you do show, provide some value to it. I picked up, We Live #1 because it is the first appearance of XYZ. This specific cover is from Dan Nguyen. This is a 1 in 10 cover. Provide that kind of information and it performs a little bit better.
Right.
If you break down a comic book from beginning to end and then provide like your thoughts at the end, those tend to perform a little bit better. So when it comes down to what performs better on my channel, my shorts, because they're small, digestible, and I don't have to talk, but I am slowly learning that show and tell, shares with our friends, informational can get us out of that bubble and reach other people outside that YouTube wants to share this out with. And if the people outside of our bubble say, dude, this video is really good, then YouTube takes you to like a third realm where it's like, all right, cool. Now we're going to get you out of whatever region you're at, whatever bubble you're in, and we're going to shoot this out to the world. Now, I will say this. I attempted something and I did something a few months ago where I'm like, you know what? I worked really hard on this video and I saw a video say, hey, look, why not promote your video? You worked hard on this video. Why can't you get this video out? Paying for the promotions for your video, you're paying YouTube to say, hey, get me out of my bubble and ship it out to everyone else. Because what we're finding out is that YouTube will not send it out to people outside of your bubble unless one, it performs well, or two, you pay for it.
Right.
So I was like, you know what? Let me pay for like a few videos to get out. Let me go ahead and promote in the Philippines, in Japan, Australia, UK, Mexico. Places where I feel might get a little bit more views. And yeah, I got views. Yeah, I got subscriptions, but I didn't get the interaction. Right. I didn't get people coming back and talking to me or asking questions. I didn't get that. And why? I was like, well, why am I not getting that? What's going on? What didn't I do in my video? And I'm realizing that I'm not interacting with the audience well enough to say, hey, what do you guys think about this? Let me know down in the comments below. You have to tend to say stuff like that several times throughout the video to remind the audience, hey, look, I want to know what you guys think about this. I'm not just here to say, hey, look, I have a Magic Square Optimus Prime and it's really cool and I like the way it transforms. Okay, bye. It's, hey, the reason why I picked this up is because of this and that and this or another. I feel like it's constructed well. Like you have to be real articulate, right? You have to be really, really good with your words. And then you have to remind the audience, hey, look, while I'm here, what do you guys think? Do you guys have this, or do you have an Optimus Prime from another third party? Let me know down in the comments below. You want to interact with them so that way they can interact back with you.
Right.
And I went back to those videos that I felt like, man, I spent a lot of time on it. And I did spend a lot of time on the videos, but I didn't really think about what I was going to say. Is this going to be a show and tell? Is this going to be informative? Like, what is this? How is the approach? So now I'm starting to think about my approach on the channel because I want the interaction. I want to hear what people think about this. I want to share with you, hey, look, I bought this new Bruticus. What do you guys think? And I have to approach it in such a way where it's like, look, I'm doing all of this work with this video and I want you guys to see it. I need YouTube to get me out of this bubble. And I want to hear from you guys. Do you have this? What part made it hard for you to transform? Did you also have this issue? If you talk to the audience in such a way where, hey, look, I ran into that issue too, cool. Or if I go in and say, hey, this is how you transform this, cool, then I'll get the videos or get the views. But it's when it comes down to performance, it's stuff like that matters. It is
Yeah,
stuff like that matters, where you have to give them the information. You have to give them value.
right.
Otherwise, we're just showing and telling to our friends, which is still fine. If that's what you want to do on the channel, awesome. You are doing it, and don't worry about growth like other people are. Or if you want to worry about growth, okay, so how are you going to present this to me, and what is the value that you're giving me by watching this?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm. It sucked to hear stuff like that, but I'm like, this is coming from some of the bigger YouTubers who know what they're doing. Fancy camera, lighting, it doesn't make a difference if you're not giving me a value as an audience member.
Yeah, I think another thing comes down to is being able to present a question that they want to find the answer to.
Exactly.
Because like my last video that I did, my pre-recorded one that I released this past Tuesday, is my best performing video that I've ever released. And I asked a question. I asked, what did my wife get me in this 35.5 pound box of comics that she bought from Whatnot?
Then people are like, whoa, wait a minute. You got 35 pounds of comics. Look, hold on. I need to see what this looks like.
yeah.
You're getting them to think about something different, something outside
And
of.
so far, that video has had over 3,000 views. And it's like before that, I mean, I've had another video that's done 10,000 views, but it was over the course of 2 years
Mhm.
that it's gotten that. But this is 3,000 views in 4 days.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of just blowing my mind on that one.
So I have I'm very fortunate that at my job, and this is going to sound very bad. I'm not lazy, you guys, but I have I'm fortunate that sometimes in my job, it gets slow and I can kick back and watch YouTube. There are some self-help YouTube channels that I truly follow. One of them is Think Media,
Okay.
and they've provided, and I follow a lot of their tips and tricks, like, the different ways of thinking. And once I start watching Think Media videos, how to algorithms changing, do you have this in your YouTube video, what do your thumbnails look like, a lot of things that may not pertain to us in the comic book community, but it's still something to think about, that I'm like, all right, cool. This I can use, this I can use, this I can use. And then through watching Think Media, I get to see other people who are like, hey, look, the algorithm's changing. This is what we see. And of course, these bigger YouTube channels, they have teams that are working on this. They have
Right.
teams of people collecting information and they're giving it to you. There you go. That is the value proposition. I'm giving you value. This is what's about to change. Throwing up words, right? And so then that makes me think, all right, well, not in so many words, but how can I approach my channel too to provide either information or entertainment? And Think Media is a great channel for me to follow because I'm that kind of a person. And then I watch other videos like how to edit better. I watch travel videos because I like doing vlogs. Like, how do they do this shot? How do they do that shot? How do they edit here? So outside of our comic book world and Transformer world, and outside of watching video like movies and stuff like that, I tend to watch how do I make my channel better type videos.
Right.
And I really, really try to pay attention because I'm a psycho like this. I'm crazy. I love editing. Love. How many people in our community actually love editing? I'm
I, I think I
crazy.
only know of one other person.
Maybe DJ Links,
Yeah,
right? Because he does a
that's the person.
fantastic job with his editing, right?
Yeah.
I love editing to a point where I've even reached out to DJ, like, hey man, like, have you ever been to any kind of, have you ever taken any courses or anything like that? And I know he kind of does it professionally. He kind of gave me some tips and tricks. So like, I listen to DJ. I know he's in our community, and I've listened to him, and he does a phenomenal job with his editing. And I'm like, I'm going to talk to this man. And that's the one thing you should do also in our community. How do you do XYZ? How did you reach that goal? A lot of us in our community, we're easy to talk to.
Yeah.
A lot of us are like, hit us up. Tom, right? Damn, what's his name? The comic book guy, Tom.
Comic Tom.
Comic Tom. Duh, duh. You see how he presents. He's got his little podcast mic. He talks really fast, but he presents the information. He gives it to us fast. He gives it to us in such a way where he's confident about what's going on. He raises questions at the end. What do you think? Do you guys have this book? Let me know down in the comment below. Number 2, like he moves fast because our brains now are so trained with the shorts that he's like, all right, let me change it up. Let me go ahead and rapid fire all of this information right here. Let me present it in such a way that people are understanding what I'm asking before moving on to the second question, keeping everything within 45 seconds. Boom, move to the next video. It sucks that we have to think like that. It sucks that we have to watch YouTube like that, but that's why he's successful, because he's sticking with the trends that YouTube is doing, and he's doing a great job doing that.
I have reached out to him, and he said that he would like to do this show at some point. So I just gotta try to get with them and finalize that, because I would love to find out like how many takes it takes for them to actually make that weekly top 10. I mean, I know that they gotta. I'm sure he has a team that helps to do the editing, because he is very. He presents himself as being very busy.
Yeah.
And like, this is a full-time job for him. Comic books is, between the cons and whatnot, and his mystery boxes and his YouTube videos. I mean, it's a full-time job. So probably some of it's got to be outsourced a little bit.
And a lot of it has to, because his full-time job is selling comic books. He has a camera there. He has a team editing for him. He has a script and things that he wants to talk about, but he has a team that says, all right, make sure you hit these points.
Yeah.
You know, he has someone to kind of bounce ideas off of, because a lot of the times there's a lot of us are like, we work better when we have someone next to us to bounce energy off of. And he's got a lot of really good energy, very charismatic, that guy, right? Yeah. Very much. That gives him the opportunity to be able to say, I have a microphone. I'm about to say something. I'm going to say everything that's in my head, but I'm going to have a team that's going to work on it and then upload it for me, boom, before I'm moving on to the next one.
Yeah.
You know, and that's also trends. He sticks with the trends. He knows what's coming up. Hey, top 10 comics this week. These are what's being sold. He could talk ad nauseum about a lot of these. And that's another way for us to be successful in our niche, in our community. It's what is the latest comic book that everyone is talking about that week, because next week it's going to change. It'll be DC this week. Next week, it's going to be Boom, maybe Image. Oh, let's go ahead and take a look at Ignition Press. It is what's coming up next, and you have to stay in rapid succession with those things in order for us to be, it sucks to say, but in order for us to be relevant, if we want to grow in this universe. Otherwise, all we're doing is just hanging out with friends. And this is what we want to do. Cool. Like I said, golden, you've reached that goal. Can you continue doing what you want to do? If you're thinking about growing, you have to change your approach. All of us do, including me.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons how I came up with the idea for this show, is I was trying to make it something a little bit different than what's normally out there. Because I mean, I've done the whole new comic book day stuff, but everybody does that, and there's only so many new comic books, and they're also only good for that week.
Yes, and that's why I stopped doing new comic book day videos. I made like one last one. I even said this is my last one, because right now it's the same thing over and over again. I may pick up like one or two different ones, but for the most part, it's just Tynan, Lemire, Ghost Machine, and Energon Universe. And I'm not going to lie, that's it. Now, right now, I'm also picking up Ghost Pepper. Now, that's a book that I'm really enjoying so much. And if I was smart about it, and if I can allow my brain to work fast at it, Ghost Pepper is going to be the next book that I would talk about.
Okay.
Right? Because it is different. It's on brand with the channel in the sense that I'm still reading comic books, but it's something outside of the Ghost Machine, Energon universe, that hopefully I can provide new information to other people that are just like, hey, wait, I've never heard about this one. Or, hey, I was kind of wondering about it. Well, what do other people think? I don't really see other people talking about Ghost Pepper. Oh, man, I'm going to go ahead and talk about that. See, if my brain worked fast enough, I would have picked up on that one right away. Be like, hey, look, I know we talk about this, but today we're going to be talking about a brand new comic book that you've probably never heard about before. And then you get people like, oh, what are we going to read? What are we going to talk about? Boom, Ghost Pepper.
A plug for Otaka Mike. The first time I heard about Ghost Pepper was from him, and he did a review of Ghost Pepper #1.
I saw that too. I went back and watched a lot of Otaku Mike's videos, and I was just kind of like just checking him out and just seeing how he does his approach and whatnot. And he's got like good energy too. And I was like, oh, Ghost Pepper, another person right here talking about it. Because we see in our community who's talking about what. Almost everyone's going to be talking about Absolute or Ultimate's universe. Right now, what's hot is, Absolute is hot. Everyone's going to
Right.
talk about that. If you want to grow, continue talking about that and then, do a different take on it. You can even say, I hate this universe and talk at nauseum about it. And people are going to hate you for saying what you just said. But people are going to come to you and hear you out.
Yeah.
And you will still get those views.
Right.
I hate Wonder Woman, Absolute Wonder Woman number 14 because of blah. How dare you? If you get the how dare you crowd or the hey, you too, that's how you're going to be able to grow within our niche.
Right. Uh, Another one I've picked up that I've never seen anybody else talk about it is kill all immortals.
I've heard about it, but I let me say that again. I've heard of it.
You're right.
What is that about?
Uh, there was the first 5 issues, and now there's a Kill All Immortals 2, which is going to be another set. But it's about the family of Eric the Red, the Viking, is really an immortal family, kind of like Ra's al Ghul from Batman.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's kind of, and they're like in corporations and they're industry leaders and stuff like that. But it's just pretty cool. I'll have to reread it. It's been a while since I've read it, but it's pretty interesting.
But it's also something that's different that we don't really talk about, at least within our community.
Right. And it's from
Right.
Dark Horse, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
And it's cool to hear that. It would be cool to hear something refreshing. Like, hey, have you heard about this?
right.
Get the audience like, ooh, no, I haven't. Bryant, tell me a little bit more about this.
It's
That's
probably,
kind of like what you're trying to get from the audience.
yeah. Okay. Flash has heard about it. He started it.
Look, you have zero excuse, Flash. Zero excuse, TJ. You are reviewing all of the old Transformers. Why can't you read one more comic book? I don't know. Shenanigans. I call shenanigans here, I tell you.
Justice for Kill All Immortals.
Yes, coming from us, justice for kill all immortals. See, I flipped it on you.
So, next question for you is: how do you balance what you love to talk about with what the algorithm is looking for or wants? And I got to say, from what we've covered so far, I think your answer might be a little bit different than what most of my other guests' answer has been on this question, because most of them are pretty just straightforward and just say they don't care. But because you're kind of like me in the sense that you actually dive into what makes YouTube work or want to know what makes YouTube work, you might have a little bit more of a answer to that question, I think.
So with the algorithm constantly changing, it changes regularly. And you kind of have to pay attention to some of the bigger YouTubers who follow this. So there are channels out there that say, hey, YouTube's about to change. This is what's happening. How do I balance what the algorithm wants versus what I want to do? It kills me. But I tend to just want to do what I want to do. Because if I was going to follow the algorithm, I would be breaking down Ultimates and Absolute universes weekly. I would be giving you all of the inside information on stuff like that. The algorithm wants to hear you inform the audience and bring value to their audience about, what is hot this week. YouTube is using us as more of a news outlet for whatever niches we're in. They will use our video like that and then be like, this person knows what they're talking about. We're going to give them some money, but we're going to get some of the ads, because that's what they're looking at. They want to make money off of us as much as we want to make money off of them. Now, if we don't care about that, like with the other, fine, please don't care. Do what you want to do here on this platform that you enjoy. You want to just have weekly hangouts with the friends and use this platform to be like, hey, look, I'm just using this to hang out with my friends. Dope, cool, I love it.
Right.
If you want to share the newest comic and the newest Transformer, the newest G.I. Joe and toy, and want to share it, cool, do it. YouTube honestly is not going to care. But if they see, hey, Bryant over here is he's making waves. He's bringing people in who have something smart or something important to say. We think this guy can bring value to everyone over here. Let's go ahead and keep an eye on him. And if you keep making those consistent videos, then they're going to push you out a little bit more, like I said. So now going back into the whole algorithm part of it all, I tend to just say, screw this. I'm just going to do what I want to do. But I also understand what YouTube needs now because they're using our videos as that piece of information. And then you're putting ads in our videos to make money off of our videos.
Right.
That's what they're looking for. Now, as of right now, how am I going to balance out the algorithm with what I love? I found out that, hey, look, one thing that YouTube actually kind of likes is I watch a lot of travel videos. One specifically is the world's best food review show, and the host Sonny. He keeps me and my family entertained. We love the travels that he goes to. He takes us to India, tries Indian food from different markets. And it keeps us engaged. We feel like it's a TV series now. Right? It's a TV series that we can constantly watch over and over again because, like, man, I want to go back to Japan. I want to go see Japan. I want to, because our heads, at least in our family, it's I want to do that.
Right.
And it's in an episodic form where it's like, cool, this week he's here, that week he's there. Now, with my stuff that I'm about to do, and going back to what I talked about earlier, my Constructicon videos I'm going to try to release, instead of just like, hey, here's another one. Here's another. I'm going to try to make it as episodic as possible. Talk about them, talk about the differences, talk about what it does, show you what it, show you a little photo shoot, and then give you my thoughts at the end, and then let you know, hey, if you like this one, make sure you watch this other video.
Right.
That's how I'm going to tie these videos together, which is what YouTube wants. So to answer that question of how are you going to balance this with what the algorithm wants, now it's like, make it episodic. I have to make it episodic. If I'm going to be talking about something that I love, I'm going to tell you pretty much episode 1, Constructicon 1, Constructicon 2. Cool. Make sure to go watch this one. Constructicon 3. All right. Well, while you're here, make sure to watch the other 2, and keep an eye out because I want to put all of these together. Now you keep the audience like, hey, he's talking about each individual piece, but he's also going to make a video of what it's going to look like when it's all together. Now you're like, cool, we're going to keep an eye on this guy's channel because something's coming up.
Are you going to put all those into a playlist specifically for that?
Yes. It's going to be in a playlist. It's going to be, it has to be in a playlist. It has to be easy to get to. It has to be something like that. And I'm tinkering around with playlists. In fact, what I've also done is I've also gone back and I've unlisted a lot of my old videos because they're not relevant anymore.
Right.
It was that week's new comic book week. It was that week's mail call. It was that week's top 3 video with another YouTuber. But at that time, I'm keeping those top 3 new comic book day releases that I've had interviews with other people because it tells you that I talk with other people about stuff like this. Though the information might not be relevant, what could be relevant is the entertainment that we hopefully brought. We had a good time. We're all laughing. If you're not giving us information, at least entertain us. And if you're not entertaining us, give us information. It is one or the other when it comes down to wanting to grow on YouTube. And now it's like, all right, cool. I'm hopefully going to be able to entertain you with my personality on these Constructicons while giving you an episodic episode,
right?
Hopefully able to get you to go back and watch my previous videos. So I have to play it like that in order for me to be what quote unquote successful, and play with the algorithm because that's what they want you to do right now.
Right. So you're gonna make the videos you want to make, but you've learned a little bit about how to
strategies.
Yeah, your strategies to give what you want to the algorithm in the way that the algorithm can benefit you and YouTube.
Yes.
And I'm glad you brought up the part about delisting, because I've used the tool. I don't know if you've heard about it, called vidIQ, or it's another.
I've heard of this. What exactly is vidIQ, and how do you use it?
I mean, it's a company that basically tells you how to build or grow your YouTube channel. I mean, they have a podcast, they have videos with tips and tricks, but they have an extension that you can add on to Google Chrome that it can show you the stats of other YouTube channels. And I happened to look at your channel through that, and it showed that you had delisted some videos at a certain period of time. And I don't know if you remember, but on Instagram I sent you a DM and I asked you, why did you delist a couple of videos? And so you're basically saying that it was because they weren't actually relevant to the way your or the direction that your channel's going, correct?
Yeah, it wasn't relevant information anymore, but this is what I've done recently is I've gone in and unlisted some of the videos that I don't feel like are relevant anymore.
Right.
But when you reached out to me at that time, um, it's because one of two things. One, it probably wasn't performing. So then what I would do is I would delist it, keep it there for a day, and then I would schedule the release again a few days later just to see if the algorithm's like, hey, let's go ahead and change this up. That was one reason. Or two, I made a mistake on the video. I had to take that thing off right away.
Okay.
It was one of those two videos, or one of those two reasons.
So
But
on the
I,
re-release, did it do anything?
um, some of them no,
Okay.
some of them no, but some of them there was a little bit of a bump.
Okay.
you know and now I'm, as I'm thinking about the new style that I'm going with my unboxings and my mail calls, I'm hoping that I can start a series of, all right, this is how I want to do unboxings and mail calls from now on. I don't have to talk. I have to show you what's in the box, and I have to do it in such a way that's now this is just me, this is my mind thinking. I have to do it in such a way that it's eye-catching
Right.
and informative in small chunks for you to keep you around till the end, so that way you can watch the next video. The hope is that the click-through rate isn't so low that people don't care. I can get 1,000 views on one, but if the click-through rate is like at 4 or 5 seconds, it's like, all right, well, that's the important information. I've received 4,000 views on this video. Yeah, but people are swiping away after 4 seconds. So it's like you have to catch someone's attention right away for them to say, hey, you know what, I'm going to pause for 30 seconds here to see what this person's doing. That's cool. Move on. Because I know I do that. I know when I'm watching reels and shorts, it's like, all right, no, I'm scrolling. I'm pretty sure I'm passing up a lot of great videos,
Right.
but if they don't capture me in that first 4 seconds, it's like, all right, I'm moving on. That's why I kind of hate like some of the videos where they go, if you use this sound for 1 second, in 10 seconds, you'll get 10 views. Like, I hate those. I scroll through those right away. Or if someone says, wait, Batman's out, listen to this, it's like, oh, you're talking about Batman. You raise that awareness. You're getting that person to say, hey, wait, I have something to say. I need your attention.
Right.
And there's all these different strategies that you can take and whatnot. Now, that's when us in our community, do we want to do that? And that's really up to the creators
Right.
who want to. Do you want to be that person that says, hey, wait, stop, I have something to say, and I'm going to say something for the sake of you needing to watch my video? Or do you actually want to share something that you're like, hey, this is actually pretty cool. I want to share this new unboxing with you guys. Whoever watches it, cool. If not, no worries, because I feel like I put enough work into it for me to walk away and say, I'm satisfied with that work. Cool, let me go into another one. But also, strategy speaking, I have to be a little bit smarter about that if I want to actually grow and get these videos outside of that first initial bubble that I was telling you about, hopefully
Right.
getting to that second tier. And once it gets into that second tier, hopefully we can, beat whatever odds are there to get into like the third tier that sends it everywhere without having to pay for the promotion.
Right. Um, so has there been any mistakes that you did early on that you wish that somebody had warned you about?
Yes. Yes, there are aesthetics. Aesthetics don't matter.
Okay.
Aesthetics do not matter as long as you're providing me the information or the entertainment that I am here for.
Right.
I've always thought, I was in my first 2 years, I'm like, oh no, it needs to look good. It needs to look good. No, we need to make this channel look good. And then, you guys need to get microphones, and, talking about the C-List Villains podcast. You need to get, better microphones, and what I get the good professional microphone, because for me, I need this, not the channel, me, because I know what I've gone through. I've been in radio school. I've been on the air, and I've studied radio and broadcasting. So for me, I need this for me. I don't need this for the channel.
Right.
I don't need this to make it grow. I need this for me to say, hey, look, to me, this sounds good. To me, this looks good. But things that look good and sound good to me might not sound good or look good to somebody else. And if I'm worried about what this looks like more than saying, hey, look, this is Magic Square's new Optimus Prime, and I'm going to tell you now, it's probably one of their better ones, but why? You know, that information, that curiosity, that raising that awareness, that's what matters
Right.
instead of aesthetics. So if there's one thing that I can go back and tell myself, two things. One, you have ADHD. That's first and foremost, you know. But once you get past that, too, don't worry about the look. Worry about the information that you're about to give everyone in our community.
Yeah.
That's what matters.
Subject matters.
Not just subject matter, but presentation on how you give the subject. How do you present the information that you want people to hear? How do you want to present the information that you just found out about? You're like, hold up, you guys. Hey, is it crazy that Absolute Batman Annual #1 by Daniel Warren Johnson, the black and white sketch cover, is it really worth $500? Wait a minute, that's something to talk about because it's the hot topic. It is the trend. You know, that is what's going on.
Right.
Paying attention to trends also, if you want to grow, pay attention to trends. If you don't care too much about growth and algorithm, F those trends. But if you want to grow, you have to pay attention to what is being talked about. I try my best not to fall into the trends or follow the trend. But there's certain things that I'm like, I like this enough, and it so happens to be the current trend.
I think a lot of it comes down curiosity too. As long as you provide curiosity and a question for the audience member, then and you answer the question. I mean, don't be clickbaity and say this and don't provide this.
Yeah.
If you're going to say that you're going to provide it, provide it. That'd be in my opinion, I think that would be one of the biggest mistakes you can make as a content creator is promise something and never deliver on it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Like you said, don't be clickbaity. Is Optimus Prime the best leader? Great. Now that I have you, let me go ahead and talk about this beer that I bought from, don't do that. It's like, wait a minute here. I came here for one thing, but you're giving me something else. And no. So, but yeah, aesthetics is probably going to be the one thing where I'm going to say that's one thing that's the biggest mistake for me.
And probably make sure that you don't have any copyrighted music on or something like that in the background.
Yeah, and that's something that I've kind of new to before anything. It is just like technically I'm using somebody else's music on our show, and I don't know exactly how that works. So like we were very careful about having background music, on the C-List Villains podcast. But now that it's a little bit easier now we are understanding what royalty free music is. A lot of it is actually free. I pay for a subscription to something called Motion Array. Now if you go back and watch my shorts over the last couple of months, all of those chill music, slow burn type of chill out beat, I've gotten from a website called Motion Array, and I pay for that annual subscription because they provide me with certain templates and certain assets that help me enhance the videos and help me create the videos that I want. And I pay for it on purpose, and to me it's worth it. To me, I'm not saying I need you guys to go out and pay $300 a year for this subscription. Don't do that if you don't want to, and I don't want you to feel like you need it. But for me, I feel like it gives me the value. I'm getting all of these assets that I can use on top of what I'm already presenting to help maybe enhance the storytelling that I'm trying to tell. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go get that.
So what's your process for planning and producing a video from idea to upload?
When you said that question, when you asked me that question, I was like, oh man, I'm going to do my best.
Okay.
I'm going to do my absolute best on what the process is because I don't write it down. So like here in my studio, it's like, all right, let's go ahead and get the background down. Let's go ahead and set the lights. Let's go ahead and get the table. Am I going to use a cover or not? All right. From here, I just end up piecing it as I go. What do I want to see? All right. Actually, you know what? In the last video, I did this shot. I would be like, in the last video, I did more of a pull away shot. let's add a, maybe a top over, gliding type video, shot or anything like that. I try to watch a lot of like cinematic unboxing type videos just to be like, hey, look, those are really cool ideas. And these guys know what they're doing. I know I'm limited on what I'm doing. And the thing is, just do it. Copy a style at the very beginning, get the idea at the beginning, change it up a little bit, right? So I tend to watch a lot of those videos. So then I start thinking about, okay, how am I going to do this short today? Okay. Then it goes to the whole, after I say, all right, it's set up. Now it's, what shots do I want?
Right.
What am I going to be presenting? How am I going to hide this? Understanding my gear, I can start from back here and then close up. And the one thing that I really should start doing to make all of my videos just seem a little bit more, I don't want to say seamless, but just to make the workflow flow better, is actually start writing stuff down. Write the intro. What do you want to say? Don't say verbatim what you want to say. I'm learning bullet points.
Right.
It makes everything easier. Bullet points. Cool. Shot list. For me, this is me. Again, don't, because I'm trying to do something different. But I try to learn about shot lists. Okay, shot 1, I want to present it like this. Shot 2, I want to present this. By the end, I want to have like, 12 or 13 idea shots. Close up, medium, wide angle, close up, medium, wide angle. Just like kind of use that same template, close up, medium, wide angle, all right, from the front, from the side, from the back. And I start thinking about that. So writing down a shot list for me is going to help me out, because I'm like, all right, cool, I'm going to put my camera on a tripod. Oh man, I have to change the tripod angle. Oh, and I have to put it back on the tripod. And I figured that out the other night, where I'm like, this is taking too long. I should just keep the camera here and shoot the shots that I need to shoot. And then if I'm going to change it, then shoot the shots that I need to shoot, and I can edit all those in later on. I don't have to, here's the thing, I don't have to shoot each video as is.
Right. You don't have
I
to
don't,
do it in sequential order. You just need to do it
don't do that. Just clean right now. Don't do it in sequential order. Otherwise it's going to take a long time.
Yeah. Set your camera, do all the shots for that camera angle, and then set the next camera angle and do it from that point.
Yeah. Yeah. And it will make the workflow so much better. So even after this, it's cool. I just learned something, and something clicked on, Bryant's show. That's how I should make things, a little bit, flow a little bit better. When it comes down to speaking about, a comic book that I really want to talk to you guys about, it's take down the bullet points. Talk about, don't tell everyone what each page is. Paraphrase it in your way.
Right.
Make it sound like natural coming out of your personality. I'm talking about, Blade Forger #1. It's a crazy book, and then just kind of like talk about the bullet points within the book. What parts of the plot change? 2 to 3. Boom, move to the next one. 2 to 3. Boom, move to the next issue #4. 2 to 3 plot points. And then at the end, give your final thoughts. And that is something that I learned when it came down to doing some of the review videos. Talk about some of the major plot points that happen in it without spoiling it too much, because what you want to do is, you don't want to tell everyone what happened. You want to tell them your experience while reading it. And then get them to say, hey, that sounds cool, I'm going to go read it. If you tell them everything that happened in the book, it's like, all right, well, why read it? Brian already told me.
Yeah.
And that's something that I have to work on also. So when it comes down to reviews, it's that. When it comes down to like the unboxings, it's thinking about every shot.
Okay. Now, thinking about setting the camera is something I've never done, but I haven't done a multi-camera angle video yet. But I think if I ever do, I will be doing it where I set the camera for all those shots that I want to do particularly.
Tripods. Tripods help. Tripods help.
I got one of these, like the.
Oh yeah, you got the boom arm. Yeah.
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 It does help for doing the comic book haul videos, or when I have a lot, I can set the book down.
Mm-hmm.
Better control of glare and stuff like
yeah.
that.
So. Yeah, exactly. Just making sure like the lights are off to the side, don't have like a light directly above it.
Yeah.
Glare. And here's the thing, just a quick tip too, like glare, you can actually use it if you do it right. There was a couple of shorts that I did. I was like, oh, wait a minute. I can use the glare of whatever I'm presenting, and then slowly display it, right? And it would be kind of like a reveal, like, hey, what are you trying to show me? There's a lot of light. Oh, I see
Okay.
what you did there. So like playing with the glare could be, you know, not I don't want to say essential, but it's a technique that you could probably use
Right.
too.
Kind of like J.J. Abrams lens flares in Star Trek. Star Trek.
Lens flares though, that's almost like a lens thing too. But yeah, tinkering around and using the flares of the lights, it's a
Yeah.
very, very cinematic. But that's other stuff right there. We don't talk about that.
How do you engage with your community, and has that changed as your channel has grown?
So just Instagram. Instagram is like the biggest place for me to be able to speak with anyone within the comic book community because we're a part of the groups that are created, right?
Right.
We're a part of Matt's group, we're part of Legion's group, we're part of DJ's group. I do
Oh, you're
pay
welcome.
for perks to some of these channels, you know, and it's because like, hey, look, like you supported me from the very, very beginning or something like that, whatever reasons I have. So being in those groups on Instagram, it's cool because then we get to talk to each other. We tend to end up being friends, right? We tend to
Right.
just befriend each other. Now, I don't create community, unfortunately, but that's a great thing to be able to do if you have it within you, is create your own little community or help with that specific community grow in whatever which way or another. With the with the groups that we have on Instagram, I take that kind of like as just group chats, like
Right.
legitimate group chat. We're all just effing around in there, right? However, on Facebook, I joined a couple of the Transformer groups, and then I realized in there I was getting a lot of engagement because it was asking legitimate, newbie questions like, "Look, you guys, I'm brand new here. What do you guys think about XYZ?" And then after a while, I was like, "Wow, there was a lot of people who are really being informative on Facebook in these groups. Let me ask some other like, kind of off the wall questions. Hey, which is the hardest transformer that you've ever transformed, which ones are the companies that you want to go ahead and purchase a transformer from, who's a better, Starscream in whatever company. And if I ask, and I realize like if I ask open-ended engaging type questions, people are going to let me know. And then I'm thinking, hey, you know what, out of those questions that I've asked, that's technically content that I can use to create on a channel,
Right.
and if I can flip it around and do something like that, cool. So the way I engage with the community is be a part of certain groups that pertain to your specific community, and then ask, important, engaging, even open-ended questions to get people to at least talk on there. And like what you're doing, open-ended questions, let them talk. Oh, okay, I did not know about this piece of information. That's really good to know. In our, in our, like I said, in our Instagram, group chats, they're group chats and we're sharing
Right.
memes, but that's still cool because we're still building a bond with each other. Because when I see you at a con, dude, Bryant, like I've met you, but I've never met you. It's like
Right.
meeting your friend for the first time at a con, like what I did at Heroes Con. But that right there is probably one of the biggest thing too, is being in there with people, meeting someone. And I meet people at, there's a con coming up next weekend called Fan Expo San Francisco, and there's a few people in the comic book community that we're all in. It's like, cool, I'm going to see like Rob, right? Rob
Right.
Fatstacks. I'm going to see him on Saturday, and it's always in passing, hanging out with him for a few minutes while I go off and do my own thing. He does his own thing, but it's cool to be able to still interact and engage, shake someone's hand. That is always the biggest thing, is just meeting someone and it's great to meet you and shake your hand, and then you build in even more in special bond like that,
Right.
you know and that's how you engage with the community, is if you can go to a con and see someone, talk to them, hang out with them. Hey man, or if someone sees you and they recognize you, hey man, you're Eman's World of Geek, I follow you. Hey, that's great, man, thank you so much for the follow. What's your name? And then talk to them. What are you here for? What are you hunting for? Who are you here to see? They spent the time with you on your channel. you know be kind and reciprocate and spend time with them as a person who watch your channel and say thank you so much, right? Or just hang out with friends too, go out to the con and just hang out with them, or just engage in the group chats, right?
Right.
Or legitimately on your Instagram, if you're not a part of any of the group chats or any of the groups that on your actual feed itself, hey, ask, hey, what do you guys think about Absolute Batman, annual #1? Is it really worth it? And just allow the community to talk to you. And here's the thing, though, this is important. When you are in YouTube and you post anything, answer everything. For us, because we don't have hundreds of people commenting just yet, every single person that comments on any one of my YouTube videos, for whatever reason, I will do my absolute best to reply back
Right.
beyond just an emoji. Now, if you're a buddy and I see you and I know that you just throw up emojis all the time, I'm going to respond with an emoji right back. I know who you are. But if it's someone that I don't know, that I don't recognize, I will definitely try to engage with them, because in my head, it's, oh my God, someone was interested enough in my video that they're actually asking and talking to me. I'm going to talk to you back. Right? So try to start those conversations, especially with the people that you don't know. And then, maybe in turn follow their channel if it's something that, pertains to your if it's in line with your channel, and those are probably like some of the best ways. When people say, oh, just engage with the community, well, how? Well, here's a couple of ways.
Right.
Facebook, go in and ask questions, go in and talk to people, watch their videos, engage with them in their channel, like right now, things like that. Those things matter if you want to grow. If you're kind of like, I'm just here for information, cool, get the information. But if you want to grow with the community, talk to the community.
Yeah, I think I'm going to, or some maybe in 2026, I'm going to start a Substack for I Have Comic Issues.
And that's a great way to start talking to people. You're getting that email list. Hey, can I have your email? Can I send you an email? Boom. And you just blast emails out. Yeah, people might be like, I don't want this. Cool, unsubscribe. But at
Right.
least you're telling people, if there's a piece of information that I want to share with you, this is how I'm going to do it. It sounds annoying, but if you want to grow, that's actually a great way to talk to people and engage with other people and point them back to the one thing that you want them to really get that information from. I'm going to send you an email because I have a YouTube channel. I'm going to send you an email. I have a YouTube channel. This is what I'm going to talk about this week. Come back to the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Point to the thing that you want the people to engage with you the most in.
And one thing I'm going to do is like use a Google Gemini and have it like say take these interviews and link it to that and say, hey, can you give me a summarize this conversation and pull out the big tips and tricks and things that we've talked about and put that into a Substack blog post, and then have the YouTube reference to it.
One thing that Rob Fatstacks actually showed me, he was like, "Hey, why don't you use ChatGPT to help create an SEO bot?" And I was like, "What's that?" SEO is
Search engine optimization.
search engine optimization. Thank you.
Oh
Search
yeah.
engine optimization, right? Just punch it into ChatGPT. I'm going to do an unboxing, and it's going to be about Blade Forger. All right, and it'll come up with what the thumbnail should look like, what the description, what the headline is, what you could talk about. It gives you all these bullet points. Now here's the thing about ChatGPT. Okay, it's great for helping you build a foundation or help with building a blueprint. But do not use word for word what ChatGPT says. Make sure that it's aligned with your
Right.
personality, with your channel's, the way it is. Otherwise, if you just copy and paste, you're not learning anything. You're relying on that thing 100%, as opposed to trying to learn how it works. What are those, key words that really matter in our community? I
Here,
can't use. Oh, go ahead.
well, now here's something that you could do. Uh, you can get ChatGPT to learn more about you. Like you could take your videos and tell it to go watch your videos, and it can read your transcripts, and they'll learn then how Eman talks in
Mm-hmm.
his videos. And then you could prompt it and say, as a YouTube strategist and SEO expert, give me a hook for this topic of a video in my words.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can still say, okay, cool, adjust it a little bit, and
Right.
it's also how you present it. So I'm actually going to use that for my Bruticus videos, for my Magic Square Combaticon videos,
Right.
and then and I need to use that for the comics that I'm reading because I am still reading comic books. It's just the same ones everyone else is reading, but
Right.
it's still not, it's I should still give people my thoughts on what I think about what I just read. I'm poor at writing. I'm poor at talking about myself. Chat GPT at least gives me the blueprint and ways to start that.
Right.
And then I can still modify it according to how I speak, how my delivery is.
Do you, um, talking about the AI, since we're into that at the moment, have you used Google Gemini to do any timestamps, or do you put any timestamps in your descriptions?
No, no, I don't use that. And I know I should, and I know I could. I know YouTube itself also has a way for them to take a look at timestamps, and they're able to break it up into chapters for you. So as long as you ask them to, and they have a pretty strong AI
Okay.
bot to do that for you without having to, like, all right, I'm going to create it, bring it over to Gemini, and then they'll do it for you. I want to, because they've done it for me. There's a couple of videos in the past where they've broken up my own videos into chapters and gave us timestamps. I just don't want to do too much of that because I want you to watch the whole video, man. Don't just go to the timestamp. you
Yeah,
know?
I haven't figured out how to do that yet on YouTube, but I have done it through Gemini, where I just copy the link, drop it in there, and say, "Give me the timestamps," and then it does, and I just paste that into my description.
hmm
So,
And it helps. It definitely helps, so that way people can get to what they need to get to. But use that on the correct videos also,
right.
right?
I mean, if you
Use that
got a
on
5 minute video, you don't need to have
yeah.
timestamps. But if you got a 45-minute video, timestamps could
Well,
help.
even at that, I can have a 45-minute con video and it's just a walkthrough. Why have a timestamp there?
Well, yeah.
It's use it according to the type of information or the type of video that you have. If it's very informational, oh my goodness, timestamps would definitely help. But if it's a, hey, look what I picked up, that's really all you need. You don't really need it. I mean,
Okay. Glitter has a question.
Mhm.
How do we advertise our channels? Uh,
Okay. So for me, it's this being a part of those groups that I mentioned, right? So we're a part of Brian and I are part of a few groups on Instagram. So anytime we post a video, we immediately share in our groups like, hey, look, friends first, people in my community first, letting you know there's a video out there. And then I would jump over to the Transformer community and do the same thing. Hey, you guys have a video that's out there. Please keep an eye out. And that's really the best way for us to advertise our videos without having to go in and do the promotion. Now, I'm going to say I do the promotion because I want a bigger reach. Hopefully people can go out there and see what I'm doing. But now thinking about it, it's like, just do the video better. Just do the video better so that way it breaks away from, out of our bubble, out of our community. And you don't have to spend too much money on it. Like spend $10 on a promotion for 2 weeks and just tell them what countries you want them to be in. And it's cool to be able to see those numbers go up, but what you really want is still the engagement. So the more you put out there, Glitter, the more you share with your community, the more we'll know that, hey, Glitter's got a new video that's out. Let's go watch it. Let's go support her. And then, then you'll get the support from the community for sure. And we'll hang out with you there. Another good way to do it is like things like what Brian is doing here, live videos, hangouts, interviews. That way you can interact directly with the audience, like what we're doing with you right now. And that's a great way to build community and a great way to speak to the community because we are directly speaking with you at that moment. So if you're looking to advertise your channel, one of the greatest ways to do it is just start a hangout. Do a
uh,
hangout video for like 2 hours and be like, hey, we're just going to talk about stuff that we like to talk about. And then just stay consistent.
well, shorts are another great way to promote your channel.
Yes, but you're still relying on YouTube to put those shorts in front of the people that, you want in your community,
Right.
right? And yeah, it is a good way to do it.
Well, I mean,
Um,
I'm just talking about the whole advertising aspect of it, because YouTube is going to feed that short to a whole lot more people than it will your long form
long form.
content.
Yeah,
So
because shorts are just quick. Same thing with reels on Instagram and same thing
right.
with, TikTok.
I mean, something I've done before, I tried before and it had a little success was when I was doing the daily long form, I would release a short about the daily, like minutes before the long form released or the
Mhm.
live stream. And then they could see that my icon was live or premiering at that time and they might click on it, who knows? But then they also have the way, or with the shorts, has the only way of being able to click to another video because you can put the related video link in the short. So that's another way to promote something else.
Yeah, yeah. And I haven't done
Um,
that yet. I probably, I definitely would like to look into that.
the other thing is for advertising, the best thing I can think of on YouTube is, I mean, you got to make sure you have a solid thumbnail and a solid engaging title to your video.
Hmm. Yeah,
Because I mean, you can have a great video, but if your packaging sucks, nobody's going to click on it to see your great video.
which is what that SEO is. I think that's where ChatGPT and using AI really does help. In something
Right.
like that, helping you create that SEO, that search engine optimization, help you create those descriptions and thumbnails and whatnot. It's a great way to enhance your video for sure.
Okay, you were asking for your clients, but that's definitely going to be useful for your new channel. Um, I mean, I do use. You ever use a Nano Banana yet? Or
No, no, no. What's that?
it's Google's AI or image generating thing.
Okay. So for a while, we talked about image generators, AI generated images, right? Don't do that, don't do that, don't. But there is a few times where I think it's okay to use it. Now let me explain to you. If I'm describing something in a video, right? Oh, here's a new Optimus Prime, but he's not as big and bulky as one of those gorillas out there. I can show, AI generate a gorilla sized robot just to emphasize what I just said. Something like that, doing something like that is fun. You're not really stealing too much, right? You're generating an image that pertains to the video and to maybe highlight something that you spoke about, or just have some fun and make it entertaining. Something like that is okay. But if you're going in, and you're an artist, you say you're an AI artist, and you're going to present some work, I'm not okay with something like that. You're making money off of somebody else's work by saying it's your work, and I don't believe in that.
Uh, yeah, I use the Nano Banana. They have a Google AI Studios
Hmm.
or AI Labs where you can get free credits to do stuff because
Yeah,
it's learning and stuff. But it's pretty helpful. So
I I pay for ChatGPT. I do pay for the subscription, so I know they have an AI generator there.
yeah,
Same thing with Meta. Meta
well,
has the AI generator as well, and it's free.
but here's the thing because I did pay for the Chat GPT one also, but trying to get them to actually do 16:9 aspect ratio thumbnails doesn't work
Yeah,
very well. But with the Nano Banana, you can go in there and it actually has a toggle switch, and you can pick the dead set aspect ratio for the image.
that's good to know.
So
That
you
is
can
really good to
choose
know.
16:9, or you can choose 9:16 for if you want to do the thumbnail for your short or
Yeah,
something like that, or square or however you want it to be. And it is a lock set aspect ratio.
that's good to know. Actually,
So
that
very, very handy because I have no hair on my head, and that's why I wear a hat a lot of times. And I lost a lot of it probably trying to deal with Chat GPT on making the image the way that in the size that I want it to be. It's very frustrating.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I can see that
So,
definitely.
but Nano
The
Banana,
frustration.
Nano Banana in Google AI Studios has the aspect ratio lock set that is very helpful.
All right.
So,
Oh, and it's on Artlist. I wonder if it's on Motion Array because it looks like it's built into a couple of um, asset sites that are important that people use.
I'll,
Okay,
I'll,
cool. I'll tinker around with it for sure.
I'll send you the link so you can find it.
Okay, thank you.
Uh, now, what type of, since we've gone into tools and that a little bit now, is there any type of other tools or gear or apps? What type of editing software do you use?
So I'm fortunate enough that my company pays for Adobe Premiere Pro. So that's what I mainly use is Premiere
Okay.
Pro. Only because if the company is paying for it, I'm gonna go ahead and use it. Not gonna lie. But another great one to use is CapCut, both on your phone and on the web. What's that other one? Canva is another free one that some people can use. And if you really want to get into editing and really understand and learn editing, DaVinci Resolve is where I started to learn how to edit.
Okay.
And it's got a steep learning curve on that one because it is professional level, but they do have a free version that's phenomenal. Um, so that's for editing right there. My gear, I'll let you guys know like what I have for my gear. For one, like I have a shitload of these bar lights right here. I have
Okay.
a ton of these for lighting. I also have a here. Let me see if I can show this right here to you. I have one of these studio lights with a softbox and a grid on it. This is a newer 170B. So it's like a mid-grade studio light with a 80 centimeter softbox and a grid. So like it helps me with some of the lighting. And then I also have smaller versions of that light bar. So I have a ton of these lights for different reasons. Right. I even have like a little spotlight too somewhere around here. I don't know where it's at. So for lighting, that's I've invested a lot of money in the lighting itself because they all do something different. They all provide a different look for the channel, as well as the camera that I use. I'm using a Canon R8 full frame mirrorless camera. I use this for. I don't need this for YouTube, but I like to, yeah, and
Right.
I can. But the main reason why I use this one is for work. I shoot videos for work, and then I use it for my vlogs. And this is what I use to film most of my unboxings and stuff like this. Because it's diverse, I use this camera. And then plus on top of that, I use it for stills whenever like us and the family, whenever I take the family out, we go like really big events like Cinco de Mayo or Dia de los Muertos. Like I've taken a lot of like portrait photos of my family with it. So I have like good gear, not great, but good gear, mid-grade gear, but I also use them for so many other reasons other than for YouTube. And then I also have two different lenses. So this is like a wide angle lens, and I would use this to get like a wide angle shot of like a vlog or for YouTube. And then I have a 35 millimeter lens also that I would use for B-roll and for some of my videos too. So they all have different reasonings for um, all the lenses have a different reason and a different use case. And then of course I have the SMB7 podcast mic, which I thoroughly love and I enjoy. It makes me sound a little bit more professional. It makes me sound a little bit better. Hi, today we are speaking with Bryant about YouTube. And again, this is stuff that I feel like I need for me.
Right.
Right. I'm not going to go out and tell you that your channel is going to be better because you have all of this gear. Number one, if you don't know how to use it, why get it? Two, if you're not going to use these for more than just your YouTube channel, why get it? And three, if you're not going to, learn how to do things like shooting, editing, don't get it. I know many channels that I watch outside of the comic book community that use their phone and they have millions of viewers. Mike Chen, who does this does this one channel called Strictly Dumpling. He's a foodie, and I follow a lot of foodie channels. But Mike Chen, phone. All of his videos are on the phone. The world's best food review show, Sunny, whenever he goes into a small kitchen and he can't bring his camera people with him, he uses his phone. So don't think that the gear is going to make you any better. The two things that I would recommend for anyone, small, big, if you just don't want to invest a lot, is use your phone and get an external mic, whether it's a headpiece or you get like a mic that just goes on top.
Right.
It sounds so much better than the onboard speakers and mic. And whenever you upload, it'll just be better. It just sounds better. So, like I said, I don't want you guys thinking that, getting a wireless DJI mic is going to make your YouTube video better because it's not. It's you that makes it better. All that does is just makes you sound a little bit better. But it's how you present the information and how you entertain us is really what people go back to you for. And
Right.
I don't want you guys to think that you have to spend and invest in all of this right here. For me, I do, because I'm stupid. But for other people, if you're not going to just really dive into this world, there's no reason for you to spend anything more than your phone and an external mic, and that's it.
Right. Okay. Um, so, is there any advice that you would give to someone that's wanting to start a, let's say, content YouTube channel, or like a geek culture YouTube channel
Yeah.
uh, today?
Yeah. Number one, this is so, I wrote so many of these right here. Advice number one is press record.
Yeah.
First and foremost is press record. Once you hit record and you're in front of your camera, you're like, okay, shit, what am I going to talk about? Cool. Now you're starting to think more about what you're about to talk about. And then you're going to look at the camera, and then you're going to start talking. Even if the first 45 seconds is kind of like, I don't know what to do, you're kind of blank, you can edit those out using CapCut.
Yeah.
First things first, you guys, hit record. Two, be about the thing that you want to talk about. Be passionate about what you want to talk about. I love comics, and we're going to talk about comics. Cool. I love Transformers. I'm going to talk about Transformers. Cool. People want to hear your passion. They want to hear why you like so many things. This is one girl that we just found. I forgot what her name was. And though the actual comics that she shows is like everyone else talks about it, it's how she presents it. She's super enthusiastic, super high energy. It looks like she has a good time. See, she doesn't need a fancy mic or a fancy camera. She just needed to be herself. Hit record.
Right.
Right? Be yourself. Have fun. Be excited. Be excited about what you're about to talk to us about. If you're going to be one of those people that say, hey, I really like this Batman comic right here. It was one of the best things that I've read all year. It's show us your excitement. Show me why you like this, and you're going to, because guess what? I bet you want to go to your family's party this Thanksgiving and be like, dude, did you guys tell me somebody here read the newest issue of Absolute Wonder Woman number whatever? I need someone to talk about. You do. Us. You have that person to talk to. It's us.
Right.
Do it there. Do it in front of the camera. Don't overthink things. This is what kills me. Don't overthink things. Hit record. The more you overthink and you start planning it out and stuff like that, instead of giving us the information, showing us your enthusiasm, showing us, why you like something, the more you overthink, the longer it's going to take for you to hit record and upload.
Yeah.
You're going to get better. That first video, I'm going to tell you now, your first 20 videos, they're going to suck. Sucked for me. I'm not here telling you that I had the greatest channel in the world, but they are going to suck. But you did 20 of them, which tells me that you want to do this. Keep going.
Yeah.
Go back, watch those videos, and always change one thing from the previous video. How did you say Absolute Batman? Hey, today we were going to read Absolute Batman. Or today, Absolute Batman. How do you project the words? Change one thing from the previous video to make the next one better, right? Now, if you're going to be talking about things, write it down. If you're like, I don't know how to say XYZ, write it down. Write the bullet points. Writing down the bullet points is going to definitely help. If you want to be informative, research about it first. If you want to come out here and talk to us about the news and you want to be really in-depth and you're going to be that kind of person, research it. Research the topic that you're about to share with us about.
Right.
I did a lot of research for the Metal Gear Solid video, and even watching that one, I'm like, I could have done better. Yes, I could have done better, but that was my first one. I know how much research I had. I know how much knowledge I had. But I still needed to go even further into it, right? So if you're going to be informative, do a little bit more research, And then, I want to say this. This is the important part right here, too. Remember, you guys, this is a hobby. It's not a career.
Right.
We're doing this for the love of our hobby, of the things that we want to do. Don't make this the focus of your day. Don't make this the thing that you want to do when the day is done. Use this as a way to relax. Use it as a way to hang out with your friends. Use it as the person that you want to talk to because you have no one else to talk to about, the newest release of, Exquisite Corpses, right? Like, who in your family is going to want to hear you talk about that right there? Probably not too many, but you have a community within us that would love to hear your thoughts on that comic that we probably want to pick up also.
Right.
So use this as a way to hang out and be that person that you want to share your hobby with. To make it's a hobby. It's not a career yet. Some of us want to
uh,
do that, but it takes a long time. But yeah,
yeah, I did post in the chat the link to the AI studio for Google, and I sent it to you in Instagram also, so you got it.
perfect. I'm going to take a look at that right there. Thanks for sending me that. I'll tinker around with it. I'm paying for ChatGPT, but I'm not saying that it's the end all do all. I definitely want to be able to learn other tools, learn
Well,
to see what other AIs can do for me.
here's a thing you could also do is you can ask ChatGPT to give you prompts to take to Nano Banana.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
so you
It's
can
learn
use,
it's learning the prompts, right? With AI. It's
yeah.
knowing how to talk to it to get you the information that you want or get you to generate the thing that you need.
Well, and something else, and this sounds very redundant, but you can actually ask it what is the best way for what is the best prompt for you to get, for me to get you to do what I want you to do, and it'll write you the best prompt.
That is very true. I
Yeah,
have something I want to ask you, but what is the best way for me to ask you? There's nothing wrong with that because we're all learning how to use it and we need to learn how it takes in that information. I like the way you think there, Brian.
yeah. All right. Well, Eman, thank you for being here today. Do you have anything that you want to that you got coming up that you want to promote or talk about?
Yeah, definitely. So, like I mentioned throughout this whole video, is I have Constructicons and I have Combaticon bots that I'm going to share, and I'm working on the unboxings and I'm working on the reviews. So keep an eye out on the channel because I'm going to be reviewing the Dream Star Constructicons, which are absolutely beautiful looking, very stylized Constructicons, as well as the Magic Square Combaticons, which are very G1-esque. They look almost exactly like the cartoon, and they're masterpiece size, which means that they're about 9 to 12 inches tall. So when I finally combine all of these two sets of robots into the bigger one, it's going to be a massive robot. So keep an eye out because I'm working on those right there, as well as I'm going to go ahead and say this more of as a promise to myself. But I'm going to review more comic books too because I am still reading comic books, and I definitely again want to share what I've read. Like, hey, Ghost Pepper, go read Ghost Pepper. Now I need to talk about Ghost Pepper because I love it. For me, it's going to be talking about arcs as opposed to individual issues because I have so much in my head right there. So keep an eye on the channel, and then keep an eye. I'm on YouTube, I'm on TikTok, and I'm on Instagram, and I share all of my videos and my photos on all those platforms right there.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for that. Thank you, Glitter. Next week, I am actually going to diverge a little bit from my traditional comic channel origins. I have another couple of videos that I've done that have taken off really well. So next week is going to be a comics to cash YouTube conversation where I'm going to be talking to my channel sponsor, who is Ron's Comic Closet. Well, let me fix this real quick and remove these. Yeah, Ron's Comic Closet is my channel sponsor for my channel. He's my local online LCS, and I'm going to talk to him about what it's like being a online. This is where live YouTubing can be.
The-
But I'm going to be talking to him about how what it is like to be a comic book reseller. He has an online store and all that, and he sells on YouTube. I mean, he sells on Whatnot, sells on eBay, and all that, and has subscription lists. So, going to do comics to cash, live comic book resale tips. So, if you're interested in any of that, please come and check that out. And I also will be doing some pre-recorded videos that I'll be releasing. Uh, I got this box. I got to make a video. I won the October Council of Comics subscriber giveaway.
that's dope. Now I need to know what's in there.
Yeah,
See,
so I got to
raising
see
awareness.
what's in that. So I'll be doing that video. And that's all that I have coming up. Eman, thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it, Bryant.
And with all that being said, we'll see you later. I hope that all of your issues are comics, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you, everybody. Bye.